This is Stories from Elsewhere, a place for strange, unexpected, and revealing tales from here and beyond.
Hey, this is Scott. Welcome to Stories from Elsewhere. I've been on a little bit of a creative hiatus, and I think that's so important for us to recharge as artists and give ourselves the time to let life marinate in us for a while. But I'm back. I'm back with a new story, and this story is about how we can connect in fundamental ways with the power of nature. And when we are looking around us and the world seems to be in its most dire state, can we get back to something essential in our nature as human beings that allows us no longer to feel separate from the environment around us? So this story for you is called Rain. I hope you enjoy it, and thanks for being back with me.
The blue Ford Focus spun up dust clouds as it raced up the gravel service road toward the sailor's farmhouse. In the sprawling field to their left, a rusty irrigation system hovered over rows of small green corn sprouts, still neatly rooted after the previous day's storms. On the wraparound porch, Jerry and Catherine Saylor rocked a bit in their matching yellow chairs, scrutinizing the Ford as it approached. Alan and Quinn got out, gave a warm hello, and asked if they could have a few minutes of their time. "We're from NCEI, National Center for Environmental Information," explained Quinn. "We're collecting data about yesterday's storm. Did you see it come in?" "Storm chasers," said Jerry. "Guess you could call us that," said Quinn. "We saw it. Me, my wife, and Sophie." "Sophie?" asked Quinn. "Our granddaughter." "You all saw the funnel cloud from here, the porch, I'm guessing," Alan added, making a few notes in his worn spiral reporter's pad. "Yep." "Was there anything unusual you noticed about it?" Alan asked, but Quinn didn't give them a chance to respond. "Why weren't you in your shelter?" "You have one, yes? In the backyard?" "We do," said Jerry. "We were gonna head there, but..." "Didn't need to," said Catherine, throwing Jerry a look. "So you saw it coming?" Quinn looked back out past their parked car to the field with the corn sprouts. "Toward your field over there, from the northwest." "Uh-huh," said Jerry. "Mr. and Mrs. Saylor, we'd like to show you something, and you can tell us whether it lines up with what you saw yesterday," said Alan. Jerry looked amused. "Sure. What you got?" Alan took a Doppler printout from his pocket and unfolded it in front of them. "This blue dot is where your farm is, and this red dotted line indicates the tornado's path. As you see, it came up to the dot at approximately 8 miles an hour, then veered sharply east, continuing for a quarter mile and curving south. See here?" "Oh," said Jerry, squinting. "I need my reading glasses." "Mr. and Mrs. Saylor, tornadoes are, by their very nature, unpredictable in their paths. But typically, they don't make 90-degree turns," Quinn blurted out. Jerry and Catherine exchanged a long look. "I suppose not," said Jerry, picking at his fingernail. A little girl in blue overalls and tan cap burst out the front door onto the porch. "Graham, can I feed Henry? Please?" "This is Sophie," said Jerry. "And Henry's one of our pigs," explained Catherine. "Sophie, "These men are from the Weather Service, and they're asking about the storm yesterday," said Jerry. Sophie's smile faded. "Nice to meet you, Sophie," Alan said. "You watched the funnel cloud coming in too?" "Sophie, you better go on and get Henry his lunch before he tries to bash his way out of that pen," said Jerry. "It's okay, hun," Catherine said, touching Sophie's shoulder. "I'll be out shortly to help." Sophie descended the porch steps slowly, avoiding eye contact with Alan and Quinn, and disappeared around the side of the house. "You didn't feel a need to go to the shelter. Why?" Quinn asked, gaze fixed on Catherine. The sailors sat in silence a while, grappling with the implications of answering Quinn's question truthfully. Jerry shook his head, as if deciding he couldn't stall any longer. "Because Sophie said she'd make it go around us," Jerry said. "And that's exactly what it did." Catherine stood beside Alan and Quinn, about 5 feet from the pig pen, as they watched Sophie toss one last scoop of corn from her dented metal pail into the trough. "Sophie, hun, these men want to ask you a few questions about yesterday." "Sure." Sophie put down the empty bucket, turned it over, and sat on it. Alan and Quinn joined her on the ground in front, as if in school. "You're not in trouble, Sophie," Quinn said. "You did nothing wrong. We're just trying to make sense of something odd that happened with that tornado." Alan picked a dandelion growing at his feet and lifted it to his chin. Sophie began to hum a little. "Sophie, did you happen to do something to that funnel cloud when it was coming toward your house yesterday?" he asked. "Yep," she said, matter of fact. "Okay," Quinn said, keeping his tone casual, light, curious. "What did you do?" "I made it go away from us," she said. Alan and Quinn traded looks. "I see," said Alan. "And how would you say you did that?" Sophie shrugged. "I don't know. I just looked up at it and pushed it to the side." "With your thoughts? Like you were thinking, go to the side, go to the right." "No," Sophie corrected him. "I didn't tell it anything. I just gave it a good hard shove in my head." "Yeah, okay," Alan said, smiling, keeping it light. "Makes perfect sense." "Have you ever done something like that before?" Quinn asked. "No," said Sophie. "But I've made plenty of clouds. I like to make clouds, especially when my chores are done." "You make them?" Quinn reflected. "Yeah." "How?" Quinn asked. "Like making a sandcastle but in the sky," she said. "But instead of sand, it's cloud mist, and I put all the little shreds of mist together, more and more, and so it gets thicker and becomes a cloud. And if I keep going, it gets darker, gray under the bottoms, like thunderclouds. And if I keep doing that, the rain starts falling. And that's great, isn't it? Because everything everywhere's been so dry. It makes all the crops grow." "And you do all that in your mind?" Alan said, trying to wrap his head around it. "Yeah, I guess I do," said Sophie thoughtfully. "Could you make a cloud for us right now?" Quinn asked, drawing their gazes to the spotless blue of the Jackson, Tennessee sky. Sophie shrugged. "Sure." She closed her eyes and grew very still, like a wax figure on that bucket. Quinn and Alan scanned the sky around them, and for a while nothing intruded upon the blue. But then Quinn pointed. "There." What looked like the torn edge of a cotton ball materialized in the blue above them, and from a small ball, it quickly blossomed to twice its size. Sophie opened her eyes, pointed up, and cheered happily. "Look! See?" Alan and Quinn sat at a small circular table in the sailor's kitchen, covered with a blue and white checkered tablecloth, sipping on tall glasses of black iced tea. Alan picked up one of the cow salt and pepper shakers in front of him and said how much he liked it. Catherine said she found them at a local yard sale and absolutely adored them. "Mr. and Mrs. Sailor, your daughter has an extraordinary gift," Quinn said, his hands folded tightly beside his glass. "But you already know that, don't you? You've known for quite some time." "Since she was what, Jerry? Maybe 3 or 4? Catherine said. "She'd be out playing, and it would be a perfectly clear day, and then all of a sudden, clouds out of nowhere, and it would start raining. Then there was that day we were going to see Frozen 2, but it was pouring. I mean, just coming down. Flash floods across the county. And she was mad about that, remember, Jerry? Then she climbs up on her chair, looks through this window here out at the rain, closes her eyes, gets really still, and suddenly the rain stops. The clouds part. The sun comes out. I mean, lightning fast. She hops off the chair and says we can go see Frozen now." "If you don't mind me asking, where are Sophie's parents?" asked Alan. Catherine's face crumpled, and Jerry took her hand in his. "Sophie's mom passed away shortly after she was born," Jerry said. "Overdose. Her dad left soon after, and we haven't heard from him since. I think he went west somewhere with a friend. He's forgotten all about her." "Allie had been getting her life together," Catherine said through tears. "When I look at Sophie, I see her, sitting beside us. She seems like she's right here and everywhere. I think that's why Sophie's always been drawn to something beyond, always above or into things, involved in that deep way with the world, the way you do when it's been too much for you and you don't understand why it's been too much for you, and why you don't have what you should have." Jerry put his arm around Catherine, and she rested her head on his shoulder. "When things like that happen beyond your control," Jerry said, "when you lose someone that important, I mean, there's something given in return. There has to be. An entry into an elsewhere where no one else can venture. And that's yours and no one else's. Sophie's ability is uniquely hers. What she's gotten in place of what's been torn away. This may not be the most popular opinion, that I believe the world is closed system, Mr. Quinn. It operates with far less input from us than we think. I've read a lot about science, and I know that nothing can be created or destroyed. It just goes from one field to another. Clouds to rain, rain to earth, earth to the food we're blessed with from our fields, and one day back to the earth, until it's all exhausted, like it's getting now." Quinn said he understood. "And your fields are some of the few across the South that have thrived. Your yields are incredible by comparison. But it's not because you have any special irrigation method or that you plant engineered strains of your crops, is it?" "No, sir," Jerry said. "It's Sophie, isn't it? She makes it rain here when you need it and blocks the sun to keep it cooler." "Please don't take her away from us," Catherine pleaded, tears streaming down her face. "No one's taken anyone," Jerry said, razor sharp. "Right, Mr. Quinn? Mr. Allen?" "We would never take Sophie from you," Allen said. "But I'm guessing you're aware of our situation. You watch the news? Uh-huh, Jerry said. 72%, Quinn said. That's how much of the Earth used to be able to produce food. And that's how much now lies barren. We predict, and this is not public knowledge yet, that our 6-year drought in the Northern Hemisphere will accelerate along with water destruction over the next 3 to 4 years, with that infertile percentage climbing to 92% by 2038. Over 2 million people have already died of starvation. You can multiply that by 10 to get a conservative estimate of what we're facing. The cloud seed and desalination projects have not gone as we thought. The aquifers are dry, so no, we would never take Sophie from you. But if word gets out about what she can do, others will come. There are already questions being asked about your farm by virtue of its productivity. They're coming, Mr. and Mrs. Saylor. This is not meant to be a threat. It's a reality. It's what's happening. And in light of that, we have a question for you. Would the 3 of you be willing to come with us, asked Alan, to our Washington headquarters, for a week? I know what you people do, Jerry said. You'll turn her into a lab rat. You say a week, but it'll be for good. No, Quinn said emphatically. We need all 3 of you, together, helping. From what you've told us today, from what we've seen, Sophie wouldn't allow any harm to come to her or you. If she can make a tornado turn right by looking at it and stop the rain with a thought, imagine what she would do if she feared for your safety or hers. She's the only insurance policy you need. But we would be there to ensure your protection as well, because it's in all of our best interests to try and get the weather to cooperate again. Have you ever looked inside a cloud? Sophie asked General Tomlinson, staring at her from the end of the conference room table. None of the generals gathered around the table had, of course. Well, if you did, you would see billions of tiny droplets crashing into each other and making larger droplets, and it would keep happening over and over until they become too heavy for the air to hold. It's so much fun, because they speak to me when they do that. What do they say, Sophie? Said Tomlinson. They say, we love you, Sophie. We will always love you. And we will be the rain for you. Only you. So you help the droplets come together with your mind, and that's how you make it rain, one of the generals said. Yep, said Sophie, smiling. She needs to be directly beneath that part of the sky, added Quinn, or at least within 100 yards of where the clouds form, based on our estimates. Tomlinson knew what needed to be asked next. Sophie, do you think the rain could ever love us? Come down for us where we wanted it to, if you asked it? I don't know. I suppose so. I never tried. The generals thanked Sophie for answering their questions. A private escorted Jerry and Catherine into the room to take her back to the base's residence area, leaving the generals to pool their conclusions and come up with next steps. They debated which growing zone to take her to, which one could reasonably benefit from the rain, and which ones would waste it. They decided Sophie couldn't meet the capacity needed for any grow zones south of Salt Lake City, and certainly nowhere in the Southern Hemisphere, where unmigrated populations had dwindled to the point of extinction. They settled on the state of Washington, its northern coastal section near the Canadian border, where they still had one of the last functioning desalination plants. They figured they could more easily supplement Sophie's reign there and multiply its effects, but it all depended on her willingness, and Tomlinson had the feeling she would refuse. And when they went to propose how she could help the world, she did refuse. Not at the behest of the sailors, but based on a stark, pre-existing moral clarity that transcended explanation in someone so young. The next morning, with all the generals gathered around the same conference table, Sophie stood at the head of it. She held over them an unbreakable resolve, a stare that foretold a reckoning, lurking somewhere between innocence and disillusionment, a silent condemnation of their survival math. Before they could pepper her with questions, she set down her single condition before them. It gleamed on the table with its simplicity. It echoed in their ears with its monolithic pitch. She would only make it rain for people in the uninhabitable zones, for the people south of the equator. Whether it would save them or not, there could be nothing charged, bartered, or owed in perpetuity for it. It had to be done this way, and if not, it would not be done at all. Because, as Sophie told the generals, the rain is not something anyone can possess. The love of the drops that come together is never narrow in its reach. The rain, she explained, is for everyone. And as long as she was alive, she said, it would stay that way.
For more adventures into the unknown, subscribe to Stories from Elsewhere at storiesfromelsewhere.com. Follow, comment, and share to help us grow. See you on the other side.